After all that, Kisara never came back to see us.
I'm surprised she slipped away without us noticing. Where would she even go? I hope this place survives. You think the Danins and Renins have a chance of getting along? We didn't really do much to change things around here, did we?
This realm had its own walls to overcome. And in the end, it was the people themselves who decided to break them down, without any help from us. I hope they keep going. I really do.
Yeah, well, if you say so, I guess. Huh?
All right. I leave command of the Gold Dust Cats in your hands.
You've got nothing to worry about, Kisara. I'll do your brother proud.
Looks like it's time to go. Take good care of Zare for me. All right, Legil?
You've got it. Stay safe, Kisara.
Did you come to say goodbye?
Actually, I was wondering if you could use another companion.
Huh?
Well, we certainly don't mind you coming along. We just figured you'd stay behind and help rebuild. These people could use you.
I thought much the same thing. However, in the end, something changed my mind. Ever since Miguel died, I've been thinking a lot. About where I went wrong, what I should have done differently. You know, that sort of thing. It's true that our dream of coexistence saved many Danin lives, but we were naive and short-sighted. I was so wrapped up in my idea of how things should be that I didn't see the problems that existed right in front of us. I thought we had been given a utopia. And so I never bothered to look too far past its surface. I chose to be ignorant. And because of that, because of me, my brother...
Miguel's death wasn't your fault, Kisara.
Perhaps you're right. But in the end, it was me he entrusted this dream to. I learned that nothing in this life is free, or gained without sacrifice. Now that I know that, I'll just have to figure out what else I don't know.
So, decided to join us?
I have. And hopefully I can continue to protect Elda Menencia from outside the dream world, for the sake of those still inside.
And here I thought you joined for an opportunity on my life.
In all honesty, I'm grateful to you. I truly am. I don't blame you for what happened. But I must also leave your service. No longer will I be defined by protecting a Renin lord. From now on, when I fight to protect my dream. All I ask is that you do your part, that you fight alongside me, not just for those who used to believe in your dream, but for those that still do. Do, Halim.
I understand. I'm no longer a lord anyway.
Well, this crew just gets bigger and bigger. All right, where to, team?
We make for Mahag Sar, the Valley of the Four Winds.
you sense one of your friends, Hoodle?
Mahog Sar. Let's dispose of the trash.
Demon Fang! Demon Fang! Demon Fang!
None shall
Take
escape
it!
my judgment.
Demon Fang!
If they rush you, you gotta jump for cover,
The
okay?
sky is
Conquering
mine.
wind! Here I come! Right now!
Lunar corruption. This is it.
Explosive
Will
ray!
this work?
This one keeps charging us!
Annihilation. That's what my...
Got it! I'll leave it to you!
Any injuries? Out of our way!
Demon Fang! I'll take you all off!
Cover the
Infernal torrent!
Let me help.
Wind!
First aid! Divine!
Demon Fang!
I'll stop its charge!
Thanks, Kisara.
Here I come!
You know, watching you really makes me realize.
Makes you realize what?
Maybe thinking too much gets in the way sometimes.
Exactly! Whew!
Well, looky here.
I'm amazed how easily you can move such a giant shield around like it's nothing.
Really? It's not actually as heavy as it looks.
It's really reassuring to have someone like you protecting us, though.
You know, I guess I never realized it before. But looking back, I've always been the sort to put myself in harm's way to protect those around me. So in a way, using this shield to keep you all safe feels like it's what I was meant to do.
You don't need to worry about protecting me. I don't plan on relying on you.
That's okay. It doesn't matter if you do or not. That goes for you too,
Me?
Yes. You see, you and I both want the same thing. We have the same goal. That means it's in my best interest.
I'm not sure how I'm sure you'll do us.
Right.
Hoo hoo. Hoo! Hoo hoo hoo. Hoo! Maybe something's going on in the forest.
What was Kelzalik even after in the end?
Isn't it obvious? Clearly he wanted the throne for himself, and was gonna have his goons execute Dohalim to get it.
He had to have known he couldn't hope to defeat a lord. He should have run while he had the chance, instead of holding himself up in the palace.
Maybe he thought he couldn't run? Either way, the outcome's the same.
So he got desperate and decided to go for broke?
One might argue that he was another victim of mine, in a sense.
Huh?
There is no greater calling in life to a Renin than the crown contest, yet I refused to take part. The shock he felt at that must have been truly immense. Enough to drive him to revolt, even though doing so meant defying Renin hierarchy.
I know I've said this before, but Danans and Renins wouldn't coexist here if it wasn't for your stance.
But that was no lofty idealism on my part, nor do I feel any pride at what occurred.
Spare us the pity party. You literally just joined us to uphold those ideals.
Shion!
No, she is absolutely correct. I shall speak no more of my misgivings.
Here's a healing arc!
Double Demon Fang! Eat dirt!
Do they not teach you to say thank you, Indiana?
Not to a Renin, they don't.
Here goes!
Take it!
Raging Cascade!
Now
Do it! Astral Energy!
Say no more! That astral energy was incredible!
I gave it everything.
There's something in the water. I didn't realize there was a pond here.
Yeah, this is Taka Pond. And it happened to have saved my life once upon a time.
What do you mean?
As a kid, I survived life under the past lords by escaping here when I needed to. It's terrible to swim in, but great for catching a bite for dinner away from Renin eyes.
Bear in mind, our rations back then weren't enough to live off of. You had to take matters into your own hands if you wanted enough food to survive.
But how did you catch them? With your bare hands?
That might take a while. Fish are prone to swim away at the first sign of trouble.
I'd put bait or a lure on a line and use it with a fishing rod.
You must not be familiar with fishing if this sounds new to you. Now where might those fish be? Ha! Looks like I lost it. Hup! I've got something. Well, that wasn't much of a challenge.
You sure know what you're doing.
All right. We can get a good meal out of this fella.
I can't believe you caught that with a rod. Amazing.
Reel it in. Boy, that's a bit of a letdown.
Maybe you could keep it as a pet.
Ha! Reel it in. Anybody could reel in that.
Not too shabby, friend.
Reel it in. I'll get you next time. Yeah. Reel it in. I reeled us in a big one.
That flapper was a true fighter.
Reel it in. Anybody could reel in that.
Not too shabby, friend.
Yeah! Okay, change of plans. Reel it in. Anybody could reel in that.
Not too shabby, friend.
All right, once more from the top.
Hey, what do you think about that spot?
Good idea. I'll go for that one. Oh, we've got a lively one. Nabbit, it got away. And that's all there is.
Wow. It seemed Kisara?
Oh,
Looks like we're going to...
That's how fishing goes. You wait.
Miguel told me that different...
But that doesn't change the fact it's a giant time sink.
Of course, each fish has its own unique.
When you put it like that, maybe it's...
You're just in it.
I was hoping we'd get so if...
Good to hear.
Okay!
Hey, what do you think about that spot?
Good idea. I'll go for that one. Reel it in. Well, that wasn't much of a challenge.
Guess it's important to stay calm.
Okay, change of plans. Reel it in. Well, that wasn't much of a challenge.
Nice! You caught it!
Reel it in. Well, that wasn't much of a challenge.
Guess it's important to stay calm.
Now where might those fish be? Ha! Reel it in. Anybody could reel in that.
That went pretty well.
Reel it in. Well, that wasn't much of a challenge.
That went pretty well.
Ha! Time to try a different spot. Ha! Time to try a different spot. Reel it in. Boy, that's a bit of a letdown.
Could have been worse. At least you caught something.
Ha! There we go. We can get a good meal out of this fella.
We can make a real feast out of this bad boy.
Hup. All right. Boy, that's a bit of a letdown.
Looks like a pretty energetic fish.
I'm always amazed what healing arts can do.
Hey. Is it just me, or have those two barely spoken a single word to one another?
I know, right? But after everything that happened with Miguel, is it really any wonder?
Kinda puts a damper on the whole journey though, huh? How long do you think they're gonna keep this up?
If it bothers you that much, why don't you ask them?
Why do I have to ask?
How come you walk together like that?
She really doesn't beat around the bush.
You mean Kisara and myself?
You hadn't noticed? You've been practically joined at the hip ever since we left Vicente.
I guess it's force of habit, most likely. I was always ready to protect him, should the need arise. It sort of came with the job description.
Right. From being in the Elder Menancia Guard. Although, Dohalim's pretty capable of defending himself, isn't he?
Having guards doesn't necessarily mean the one being guarded is weak. No one's perfect all the time.
Even so, it's not like they're entirely wrong, Kisara. You're no longer in my employ, after all.
I don't know. I mean, if it's what she's used to and you're both comfortable with it, then who are we to judge?
But she doesn't serve him anymore. It isn't normal for her to keep following him around like she still does.
You know, she's probably right. And a lot has changed over the last few days. I guess it wouldn't hurt to rethink our relationship in light of the new circumstances. Perhaps I'll give it some thought, after all. Does that sound all right by you?
Of course.
You might want to stop asking his permission for every little thing while you're at it.
Sorry. It's not that easy, shaking off old habits. I'll probably need a little time to get...
I'm impressed how well balanced this thing is.
Why are you looking at me like that?
That armor you wear is standard issue for the...
I've noticed that sometimes we come across enemies who fight like you, and try to dodge our attacks at the last second.
I hate those guys. I can get some hits in when they move into attack, but otherwise they slip past damn near everything else I throw at them.
If what you're seeking is a way to more reliably hit them, there is a solution.
Try to outclass them on reflexes?
I possess the ability to command Earth elemental beings to some extent. They emerge as the land itself and take root on my command. They will swiftly bind the enemies, at which point you can dispatch them.
Huh?
What he means is that he can make plants grow to hold the enemies in place. At least I think that's probably what he's saying.
I'm glad at least one of us understands him. So basically, if we find an enemy that likes to dodge, we should let Dohalim handle it.
I shall do what I can within my modest means to help.
All done. Come and eat.
That's your 12th serving.
Damn, that's gotta be a record.
Even seeing it for myself, I can hardly believe it. Where is her body storing it all?
Oh, have you guys already had enough? Did you not like what I fixed?
No, it's just...
We're just amazed at how much you can wolf down.
Doesn't it hurt even a little? Aren't you feeling heartburn or something?
Oh, this is nothing. You know what they say? You always have more room for dinner.
I'm pretty sure that's what they say about dessert, actually.
Plus, this is Noki we're talking about. That stuff just sits in your stomach.
I swear, I'll never understand you Renans.
Kisara, let's talk for a bit. Maintaining your shield? It's becoming a familiar sight.
Miguel was the one who taught me how to maintain my equipment after I first joined the Guard. Now, it's just a part of my routine.
Your brother always seems to come up whenever I talk to you.
That's because we had no other relatives, so it was just the two of us growing up. He was my idol, the one I looked up to and wanted to be like. When I became a guardsman, Lagiel wasn't too pleased to see me at first. It was Miguel who really welcomed me aboard.
Lagiel? Oh, right. She was Miguel's second in the Gold Dust Cats, wasn't she?
That's right. She's always been a very critical and down-to-earth person. In other words, the complete opposite of a dreamer like me.
You're more an idealist than some pie-in-the-sky dreamer.
Even so, that's my brother's doing. He'd never let me stop seeing a brighter world. He always did what he could to keep me smiling and happy.
You must have meant a lot to him.
He wasn't just kind either. He always worked so hard to set an example for me and everyone else around him. He was a true big brother. So much so that when he thought I was asleep, he'd slip out of the house to go training on the outskirts of town.
You seem to know a lot about it.
That's because I only pretended to be asleep and would follow after him. You know what? I'm at a good stopping point with my shield. If you've got time, how about I tell you a couple more Miguel stories?
I guess I'd better get comfortable.
I'll take watch tonight. It's okay. Before we go, do you guys have everything?